Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Boya's Pilgrim. This particular day, I just want to talk about and explain why I feel safest driving in Sweden. I have been in several countries. I have been in many countries. In fact, my first driving was in Kenya, where I drove for very many years, and I've been around. I've driven in Tanzania, in Uganda. I've been to different countries. I've been to India, Pakistan. I've been to England. I've been to Germany, Belgium, France. I've been all over. I've been to Italy. I've been to Denmark. And one thing that I want to really say is that driving in Sweden is something else. Driving in Sweden is where I feel the safest. I don't know whether it is part of the contribution of the training I received here, because let me put it this way. You might think that you've been a driver for long, and many people from different countries have always come here, and they've been frustrated when they have to go through the test, and they all fail. They find it difficult to get the driving license, and I being one of them. When I came, I happened to be in a driving school, and I went through the driving school. It costed quite a while. Although it was paid by my company, which I worked for, I didn't feel the cost that much, but it was a lot of money. And then my first test, actually, I failed. I felt really mad. Like, I mean, what? But the truth is, the Swedish standards of the we call it the STR service. Um, it's they've got the best standards in the world, and we are talking about they give a very good introduction. They give perfect training in town traffic, then driving in the country roads. They teach you much about the car, so it's not just about driving the car, but you know the function of the car, you know everything about the car. Then they teach about driving in the dark, then driving in slippery roads. There is actually a special school where people go in a very slippery pitch. Uh, it's called I don't know. I wanted to get it in English, but it's kind of like up a road that is just made open for slipperiness, and they you just slide in the snow as much as you can, just to understand how the vehicle behaves on slippery roads. Then it teaches you about people, the behavior of people, and how to, have eye contact and know how, because knocking people is just the saddest thing you can ever do. And if it is possible in Sweden, it is very, very much avoided. So there is a special training on behavior of people driving other cars, people riding on other other vehicles in the traffic, like the scooters, the motorbikes, the bicycles, the kick bikes, I don't know what, the wheelchairs and everything. So there is a thorough training about this. Then they also teach about environmental driving. I mean, so one thing that you're going to find in Sweden, uh, there is no this heavy acceleration. Of course, when you go to town, you'll find a lot of undisciplined youth or people from different strange countries where they have not gone through this course, so they understand. So there's this crazy acceleration and noise making, it's not there. And then they have a lot of supplementary information for each and everything. And then there are also rules and regulations in case an accident happens. You know what to do and what not to do. So out of all the countries that I have driven, I feel very, very safe. Actually, Sweden is the safest place I can ever drive. Sometimes last year, I think I drove some friends to Copenhagen, and the moment I crossed into Denmark, I felt so insecure, and I felt like the roads were a bit narrow and the driving was a bit aggressive there. It was not relaxed. The road signs were a bit little. I had to strain my eyes to really get them right. I mean, Swedish signs are big and colorful and very, very precise, so that you can be able to see them. And and you know, they're very, very concise, and you can be able to see them. So and when I was coming back from Copenhagen, when I crossed into the Swedish boundary, there's a sense of relief that just came into me, and I felt, whew, at last I'm back in. It doesn't matter what the weather is like, whether it is rainy or snowy, but you feel safe in the Swedish roads. And the road accident rates are very, very low, very, very low. And very few accidents happen. Of course, they do happen, and you'll find that most of it is people not holding real Swedish license, or some people who they, I don't know, have newly gotten Swedish license, and before they get the experience, they try to do strange things. But in most cases, there is something that the Swedish have, but they have a provision where children start training between the age of 16, 17, with a moped and some slow moving vehicles allowed in the traffic. The speed used to be 45, but since they involved into kind of like accidents, it was reduced down to 30 kilometers per hour. My daughter's been having one here. And with this 30 kilometers per hour, the children have a lot of time to learn a lot in the traffic. So by the time they get to 18 or 17, 18, when they start training to be in the real traffic, they have a vast experience. So safety is one thing, and matters of vehicles are not new to them. And another thing is, in Kenya, the whole idea of having a car is like a lifetime thing, or some people end up never buying a car because how the structure of the economy is made. So here it's not a big thing. It's a question of uh, convenience working out as to whether you can pay such tax for it, because they are taxed, they are taken for inspection, vehicles have to be maintained, and they're inspected annually so that they meet the road standard. And then you have to pay insurance for each and every one of them. So you can have as many cars as you want, but as long as you can pay for all those, then well and good. But it's not a big thing, owning a vehicle in Sweden. And the taxes are fair. I mean, and somebody also appreciates what the taxes are being used for, because the roads are perfect. So you can see that the money that you pay goes in for a good reason, and the police are also very, very strict, and they're very efficient checking. They look at worn out tires and all those guys. They mind about your safety. It's not that they're after you or anything. They mind about the safety, and they are not corrupt at all, at all. So here, when you're driving, forget about that hamsini that you're going to give. Everything has to be right, and I think the police do an incredible job here. And another thing is that the fines are heavy, such that when you break the law, you feel it at the end of the day in your pocket. And they're also reasonable, because before they dispense the fine, they look at the income, how many kids you got, what kind of debts you have, and all that kind of thing, so that they don't crush your economy. So they're really fair in that, but they're strict such that every crime has to be paid for. And they are also on the eye, such that vehicles that are on the road do not destroy the economy by over exhausting fumes and all that kind of thing. So all the vehicles are in good shape, and people have respect for animals. People have respect for pedestrians. Knocking a pedestrian can make you pay high. Share with me this.